When you're learning a new piece of recording software, it's important to understand all the tools available so you can work as efficiently as possible. So in today's video, we're going to learn all about zooming and how to get around in your session. Hey guys, I'm Nathan from Harrison Consoles and welcome back to the channel. So there's a few basic conventions we need to understand in order to vertically or horizontally zoom in and out of our session. So let's take a look at this project I have pulled up here and show you some keyboard commands and some basic mouse actions we can use. All right, so here's a song that I created a few days ago, and let's just play a little bit of it so you can check it out. So the first thing I want to show you is how to scroll up or down or left or right with your mouse wheel. And I'm actually using a trackball. Any kind of mouse that has a little wheel in the middle that you can scroll up and down with, that's perfectly fine. So you can see if I have my mouse cursor anywhere below the top timeline, then I can use my scroll wheel to scroll up and down between the different tracks. While in the same area, I can hold down Command on a Mac or Control on a PC, and this will allow me to zoom horizontally. This is also dependent on where the mouse is as well. So if I put my mouse over these set of regions, it'll zoom in and out horizontally on those regions. If I go up here, it'll focus on that part of the screen, and same over here. Now, if you do have your mouse over in the top timeline, then moving your mouse wheel will zoom horizontally in and out. So just know if you have your mouse below this timeline, you have to use the Command or Control key to zoom horizontally. Otherwise, you're going to scroll up and down with your mouse. The next convention we need to memorize is something that's dependent on whether you're selecting a region or you're selecting a track header. So if I select this track, for instance, and I press F, this is going to be the key command for fit selection. And you can see that it takes the whole track and just moves it vertically to fill the whole screen. But if I select a region, like this one for instance, I'm going to press Z, and that's going to mean I can zoom in just on that region. So this actually fit the whole track vertically, but it also fit the whole region horizontally as well. For these next few options, we're going to take a look at the menu and click on View, and then the Zoom and Zoom Focus menu items. So under Zoom, we can see that there's keyboard commands that actually zoom in and out horizontally in your session. So this is the equal symbol and the dash symbol. So on your keyboard in the top right-hand corner, beside the delete key, we have our equal sign, which is going to zoom in and out. But notice that the zoom focus of where it's actually zooming in can be changed. So back to View, and then Zoom Focus, we can see that it's set to Zoom Focus Left. So regardless of where my mouse is, if I hit those keys, it's always going to zoom in and out on the far left area. Now for my own personal workflow, I prefer to have this set to mouse, but the default is set to Zoom Focus Playhead. So I'm just going to set it to mouse. And now if I move my mouse over here and hit the keys, it'll zoom in and out. Moving my mouse over here, zoom in and out, and move my mouse down here, zoom in and out. So with that basic understanding, you can really get around in your session pretty fast. But let's continue learning a few more options. So going back to View and Zoom, we can see we can actually zoom to session with a simple key command. So let's say we're zoomed in really far on a region by clicking on it and pressing Z. But now I want to get back to where I can see my whole session at once with one key command. So that's going to be Shift, Control on a Mac or Alt on a PC. Hit the dash key. And you can see I have my start marker over here and my end marker over here. If you want to zoom back out from any state, you can hit the Z key repetitively until you get to the level of zoom you want. But let's say this is our starting zoom point, and we want to get back to this after we zoom in on another section. So once again, I'm going to select a region and hit Z. And then to go back to the previous zoom state, we can hit Shift Z. And we can just follow this convention over and over to get around our session. So if I want to zoom in over here, I can do that. Shift Z. Maybe zoom in on this section. And Shift Z to go back. Now, so far we've been selecting regions and then hitting Z. But we can also use the range tool to zoom in as well. So if I want to make a range across this section of regions, I can now hit Z. And it'll zoom in on whatever I've selected. Now hit Shift C to go back. I'm going to zoom in on this section here. And this makes it really easy to zoom in quickly and then find what I need to edit or maybe adjust with a region gain, and then go back to my previous zoom state. Now in version 8, we've added a new way to change the height of your tracks. You can still right click on any track and go to height. Then choose one of many options from small all the way to largest. And you can do this across multiple tracks as well. So if I choose these tracks, right click and choose largest, they're all going to expand out to their largest size they can. But really I find it's best to keep using the F key to fit the selection of tracks that you have chosen. So if I go back and choose any number of tracks here, I can now hit F. And it will expand all those heights to fill out the whole screen. But now there's an additional option that you can use keyboard shortcuts to do the same thing, especially if you know you want little increments of size change and not always doing the fit to selection method. So going back to view, you can see under zoom, we have expand track height and shrink track height. So this is Shift plus symbol, and then shrink track height is Control Shift plus symbol on a Mac or Alt Shift plus symbol on a PC. So if I choose one track, it's only going to affect the track I've selected. So Shift plus expands it out, and then Control Shift plus shrinks it back. To clear any selection, you can hit the Escape key. And now with nothing selected, I can hit Shift plus. It will expand all the tracks. Control Shift plus will shrink all the tracks. So that way you can make these as big or as small as you want. If you know you want a quick way to fit the selection of all the tracks you have in your session to the screen, we can always hit Command T to choose all the tracks, or Control T on a PC. And now just hit F. That will expand everything out. Now hit Escape to deselect those tracks. And now we can also hit Shift Control Dash to zoom into our session. And so far you've seen me select audio tracks, but selecting a MIDI region, then hitting Z key is a really helpful way to take advantage of the inline MIDI editing capabilities here in Mixbus. And then when you're done editing your notes, you can just hit Shift Z to go back. So if I actually cut this up a little bit and make a few small regions, I can choose this region, hit Z, it makes it nice and big. I can hit my D key, I can draw in some notes. Then I can always go back, hit the G key for my grab tool, select another MIDI region, hit Z, makes it nice and big. I can now edit whatever I want. Shift Z to go back. I can go and make a range around these audio regions. Hit Z, zoom in. I can do some editing, go back. And once you get these basic conventions down, you'll know it like the back of your hand, and you'll be able to zoom around your session in no time. So these are the tools I use every day when I'm recording, editing, mixing, and mastering my personal projects or projects for clients. And it is really helpful to understand the basics of zooming. So that way, when you are in a session with clients, you can work as efficiently as possible. So I hope this was helpful. If you like what you've seen here today, be sure to subscribe down below and click the bell. And until next time, I'm Nathan from Harrison Consoles, and I'll see you in the next video.